I'll just call that new metal is still good.
There you go, man.
Because I was listening to Mudvayne with you, and it inspired me.
There you go. All right, welcome to the podcast, everybody. It's Two Lonely Boys in a Canoe. I'm Chris Evans. That's Trevor Ahlstrom.
He is the most gorgeous George, and I am the graveliest of shits.
There you go. You already know. So what's up, Trevor?
Well, it's a Thursday. It is icy as fuck out, so it's my quick local news.
Very cold. Very cold.
And we had some wet, and then it's going to freeze if we make it slippery.
Mm-hmm.
So, folks, whether you're walking, driving a vehicle, a bike, slow down a little bit and pay attention.
Take your time. Try not to fall. Falling sucks.
Falling sucks. Fishtailing in a vehicle sucks. And it's just from people not paying attention or just driving too fast.
Well, I think during the winter some crashes are unavoidable.
Yeah.
Some things happen. But a lot of the times...
you're right. There are some patches of ice
it happens.
It happens.
It's the winter. But there are some people that just forget that they are driving in icy or snowy conditions.
They drive too fast.
And they try to drive normally. And when you try to drive normally in bad conditions, it doesn't work out well. It's like driving in heavy rain. Mm-hmm. You know, your car can hydroplane, you can skid. There's a lot of little things that can happen to your tires as they're rolling along the road.
Sometimes you just need to wait it out. You just need to pull over and just wait something
Every once in a while, yeah. Sometimes you just got to wait out the storm and
because it's literally too
find a
dangerous
nice place to take shelter.
Yeah, I've had that happen to me where I had to just pull over. I was like, I can't go anymore.
Well, you got to be careful if you pull over on the side of the road and it's snowing bad though, because if you get stuck, sometimes there's not help coming immediately. There's people that get stuck all the time. They just get off the road and they fucking end up in a patch where a bunch of snow's covering them, and then they get buried. And somebody might find them, somebody might not find them. You know, There was a dude a few years ago who lived off of Taco Bell packets. He had a bunch of Taco Bell packets in his car.
Like the hot sauce.
Yeah, and he was eating a bunch of the hot sauce packets while he was, trying to survive. And Taco Bell ended up sending him lifetime card or something for Taco Bell.
Oh, because it was good publicity for
them. Of course. But I thought that was crazy that he was just trying to survive and he only had Taco Bell packets, so he was like, I'll eat these. But fuck it, if that's all you got, tomato sauce or hot sauce, whatever, you'll eat it.
I've been in those situations too where we're out in the wilderness and I had to just forage for green onions and I found frogs in this pond. We were way up in the mountains, but I just found a bunch of frogs and we just cooked them up and that's what we fucking had.
Frogs.
Yeah, and we and the spruce leaves too. They're really tender.
Trevor
you can eat them.
didn't tell you is that he had a bunch of MREs and stuff. He had a bunch of food. He just wanted to eat frogs, so he killed a bunch of frogs and ate them.
I mean, I would do that anyways.
Exactly.
But
that's the problem.
But I was in a situation I needed to do it. But
he was in a situation where he had the opportunity and the motive. He's a murderer. He's a frog murderer. I'm taking you to amphibious court. Amphibious corpus.
Man, a lot of people are going to be leaping all over that case.
Especially in the old kangaroo court.
Dude, kangaroos and frogs hopping around a court? I'd be terrified. What the fuck is happening in this courtroom? There's just frogs and kangaroos going on. Is this a zoo? Are we in zoo court?
There's just a zoo toad with a giant gavel and a fucking, the old wig, the old judge's wig on. And he's like, order in the court.
What do you think of the idea, though? Zoo court?
Of the toad.
What if you had zoo court or toad court?
Zoology court.
Just zoo court.
Zoo court. You've entered zoo court. Giraffe, how do you plead? And he's like,
man, fuck guilty. This camel.
Not guilty. Lion, how do you plead? It's like,
I ain't be lying.
This motherfucker came over to my house. Yeah. He's like, are you the king of the jungle? He's like, yes.
And it would be endless bad animal jokes. It'd be like it would be like when the camel and the whale. No, the camel and the elephant are talking shit to each other, and the elephant goes first and says, hey, camel, you look like you got titties on your back. And then the camel looks at the elephant sidelong and says, man, you're pretty funny for someone who looks like he has a dick on his face.
What?
You weren't paying attention.
A dick on your face? Why does the lion have a dick on his face?
It was an elephant and a camel. You weren't paying attention, Chris.
I thought you said lion.
No, I said an elephant and a camel.
Weird. I didn't know that the elephant had a dick on his face. I thought it was his nose.
You were the only person that just was like, ooh, everyone else laughed.
Who's everyone else? I'm the only person here.
I told that joke at work, everyone laughed.
Trevor, stop trying to convince me that you're funny. I know, you're a real funny guy.
I wanted to throw a silly joke out there, it's fine.
Trevor's a real funny guy, folks, if he hasn't already told you.
Alright, one more. What do houses eat when they have bad breath?
Garages.
Apartments.
That was good.
I fucking learned that last night on Nick Cannon's Wild and Out. Andrew Hudson came up and told it, and I was like, you know what, I can use that tomorrow for the podcast.
Oh my God, this guy's a joke thief, guys. He's ripping off Nick Cannon's Wild and Out. My God.
Well, everyone hears jokes from somewhere. I mean, you can make some up. I made some up today, but I'll save that for the Christmas special.
Trevor's sitting here stealing jokes, folks.
No, I have some I made up today also. Do you want me to say one?
Not at all.
Okay. I'll save it for
What's the difference between Black Santa and White Santa?
Their credit score?
What?
No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
Racist. You're so racist.
No.
And he tries to convince me he's not racist.
The white guy has the worst credit score.
What? Santa Claus doesn't have a credit score. He lives in the North Pole.
He isn't real, so none of them have That's
the difference, Trevor. One lives in the North Pole, one lives in the South Pole.
There is difference. No. Oh, so there's a South Pole Santa Claus or what?
Yes, it's Black Santa. He's from the South.
Nah, I get it. No, I like it. I was just thinking about like Black Santa sounds pretty cool. Actually, that'd be awesome.
Black Santa, giving you some cool ass gifts, Black Santa.
So
here's a record player, young blood, and he's like, "What the hell, Santa? I can't use this. I'm, it's 2002 or it's 2022. I'm fucking stoned." And he's like, "Hey man, I got some good pussy with this. You better use it right." And then he flies off, and he's just like, "What the hell do I do with the record player?"
He's giving people
Black Santa, Black Santa.
He puts Newport cigarettes in everyone's stocking, and then he leaves.
Black Santa. Love that.
Be pretty funny.
I love that. I always hate that Newports get that rap that they're just for black people, because I smoke Newports.
He does.
And I may be a very urban white guy, but fuck that. Newports are delicious. I love that was one of the prizes on Dave Chappelle's black.
How well do you know black people is a trivia game?
What was it? It was black people.
How well do you know black people? Yeah.
Something. But yeah, it was a pack of Newport cigarettes. He was like, you got some hair gel and a couple bootlegs, DVDs or CDs.
It was like, what is a chicken head? And then the white guy's like, well, might be a term for maybe a lady, but then the black guy's like, oh, that's a bird you want to get tired, something you want to wear out.
It's like, that is correct. He's like, what is a badonkadonk? It's like, I don't know, some sort of move.
And the other guy's like, oh, you're getting it down. I'm like, damn.
Dave Chappelle should come out of retirement.
He should. He's too awesome
to do final season of Chappelle's show,
with just the characters.
With all the sketches he wanted to do that they didn't want him to do. Like I always wanted to see the time travelers, the
hater one. Yeah, I love that one.
That one was pretty funny. They beat up Hitler and shit.
They went back and
Hitler's mama got one big titty and one little titty. And they call the bitch Biggie Smalls.
And they went to the plantation and they shot the owner.
And he's like, when's we gonna be free? He's like, how about nowish? And he's like, this is where the sketch loses it. And apparently me and Neil are the only ones that think it's funny to shoot a slave owner. And he shoots that guy a bunch of times.
And then hey, where do you think Django Unchained came from?
I don't know, man. Somebody had to shoot at a slave owner before.
It did happen.
Like, there was revolts on fucking plantations from time to time.
You hear about the John Brown one? That's something I had learned in high school.
No.
It was a big slave revolt that happened in the 1850s.
Well, I know that when you have people, especially a mass of people, that fucking you're keeping down, and they're able to procreate and shit, eventually their numbers get up, and then they wonder why they're taking all this shit from 15 people. You know what I mean? They are 15 people with guns, but if there's 200 slaves, you know what I mean? The numbers don't really work out. So that's what would happen on these plantations is you get all the slaves just getting pissed off and being like, yeah, fucking Friday night's the night, you know? We're going to Master's house and we're going to fuck them up. Mm-hmm. Somebody's got to do it. Now, Master's going to keep you down. Yeah. Don't let the white man keep you down, folks. He's keeping us all down.
He is. Yeah. End of the day, racism is dumb, and
Trevor's like, I want to do my little disclaimer here.
I mean,
Trevor's like, I don't approve. I do not know anything about black people except that they're great. You know? He's like, I've eaten black pussy. How about that, folks?
I have, even on their period. Even on their period.
Well, that's nothing to be fucking proud of, you dirty motherfucker.
Yeah, that was how I got my Red Wings, was this black chick on her period. And,
man, if you do anything on a period, it's fucking. You don't fucking eat pussy on a period.
Well, I did that. I did all the things.
Dirty motherfucker. Nasty.
I was teen nasty back then. But yeah. But I
had a girl.
I had drank a whole bottle of whiskey.
I had a girl ask me to eat her fucking pussy when she was on her period, and I was like, I think we're done. She's like, what? And I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this right now. Like, we were fucking, and she was like, eat me out, and I was like, no, I think we're done.
Well, you might. I don't know. I had drank like most of a bottle of whiskey. That was my problem.
Trevor, I'd never be drunk enough to do it.
I was.
Trevor's just like trying to come back from that one. He's like, now I said it on the internet. If anybody ever hears this, they're gonna be like, you dirty motherfucker.
Dude, you know what's funny is
that's what I'm like right now. I'm like, what?
I have a funny story though.
Blood on your dick is one thing. Blood on your lips, dude, man. You're not a vampire. You're not a vampire, Trevor.
Well, it was lips.
He's like, blah, blah, get your pussy over here, blah.
Hey, it was blood on lips, but it was the lips between the hips.
Still doesn't save you, man. That was terrible.
I told the guy.
Folks, you heard it here first.
Yes.
Trevor's eaten bloody ass pussy before.
I have.
Of a prostitute.
She.
Was I right?
Yeah, she was.
Oh, Trevor, she was a hooker.
But I didn't have to pay for her because she liked me.
That doesn't matter.
No, I went and got tested. Later on.
He's trying to reel it back in, folks, but this story's long gone, man. He's fucking eating hookers' pussies on their periods, not getting charged because she's on her fucking period and she's a hooker. And she's like, I can't believe some dumb fuck would eat my bloody pussy.
Dude, she fucked good though.
Oh, I bet she did.
Oh man,
I bet she did.
we fucked another time too, but yeah, good times. And when that happened,
like, I got tested. I'm okay. I got tested. That doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it better.
What was going on too is the floor was.
Next thing you're gonna tell me is you met a real pretty guy down in Tijuana. Yeah.
No, I met a real pretty donkey in Tijuana.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Trevor just doesn't know where this show's going, folks. So when this is archived as one of our best moments ever, hearing Trevor eat bloody pussy.
And there's a little more of the story if you wanted. That's true.
No, not at all.
My buddy was getting in a fight with the guy outside, and my buddy went out and took a fucking wrench, and he hit this guy who was tweaking outside while we were fucking in the head with a wrench.
He's trying to make the story cooler, folks.
No, that is true. That happened.
He can't get away from the fact that he was eating a hooker's pussy on her period.
Anyways.
What? You can't anyways that.
Yeah, we're going to the next news.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are.
I'm staying on this topic.
No, we're trying to move on.
Trevor, you can't move on from that.
There's been a couple stories. I'm like, wait a second. Like,
Hold on,
Trevor, I did.
Hold on, Chris. If I'm Trevor, you're Chris.
Get me worked up. No.
Hold on, Chris.
I did some wild shit when I was younger.
Trevor.
What?
You were eating a hooker's pussy on her period. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I was crazy then. Like, I was literally crazy. Like, I was
You're
nasty.
crazy now.
No, I was. If you ever ask Dylan, like, I was pretty crazy at that time to myself.
Folks, we're gonna have to take a poll here. Do you eat a hooker's pussy at all? Possibly. On her period. It's like a 99% no. All right, yeah, good quick poll, folks.
Apparently, I'm a dirty white boy, but yeah, no, I was. Anyways, moving on to national news.
Trevor's trying to anyways this, folks. I'm not letting this one go.
Come on,
I've
man.
got a hold of the fish now. Trevor, why do you regret it?
I don't regret it.
Why do you not regret it?
Because I didn't gain diseases from it, so I'm good.
Is that why you don't regret
That's
it?
why I don't regret it. If I got a disease, I would have regretted it. But I didn't, so I have
Trevor's
a good story.
Trevor's dick didn't fall off, so he talks so highly about eating this hooker's pussy. That's why he didn't bring up the hooker
That was a close
fact.
call.
That was a close call.
That was me using one of my 9 lives. I'm sure if there was such thing as a
There's a
guardian
cat
angel,
god.
that guardian angel probably was crying
That
right then.
cat god was crying, laughing at you, going, "What the fuck?"
Cat god.
Yeah,
What,
9
we
lives.
Egyptians?
9 lives
Yes.
over here. Cat god. Trevor, what the fuck?
Anyways, on to national news.
On
In
to
Humboldt
national
County.
news,
In Humboldt.
Here's national news. Trevor ate a hooker's pussy on her period. She didn't charge, though, folks.
She thought I was a funny white boy is what she called me.
She didn't charge him.
Because I was a funny white boy. Anyways.
What would have been the cost?
I don't
What would
wanna
have been
know.
the cost for her getting her pussy ate on her period?
I don't know.
$50?
Maybe.
What the fuck?
All right.
You were gonna pay her if she
No,
asked?
I wasn't.
You didn't have any money.
I was broke. Yeah, I was poor. I was just a poor, funny white boy is what I was. So that's why.
So you rolled into this hooker's house and was like, "I ain't got no money, but I'll eat your bloody pussy."
Well, it all started with, like, I said some joke, and she's like, "Oh, you're always so funny." And then we went upstairs, and I said, "Yeah, how about I give you a back rub?" That's what I said. So then I was like, "Yeah, let me give you a back
The
rub."
old back rub
Yeah.
move.
And then we went up there, and then my lead singer of my band at the time, she was the roommate and lived upstairs in the shitty apartment.
Uh-huh.
And then he just kind of gave me a crazy look, like, "What are you doing?" And then I went up with her and we banged. And then he got in a fight with the guy tweaking outside. And then what else? I don't know. It was a weird night. And just,
I bet.
Yeah, the next.
I bet.
And I was
Were
extremely
there drugs involved?
No, a lot of whiskey. It was just like over a bottle.
Alcohol fueled bad
It was
decisions.
a lot of Jim Beam. But yeah, I woke up feeling very strange, and I remember I like sat on the.
Did you do something strange for some change?
I did something strange for no change. But yeah.
That's not good.
And she did something strange for no change. So there you go.
I guess. What'd she do? She lick your butthole?
Maybe. She got close.
What?
She got close. She got close.
Trevor got his butthole licked by a hooker.
No. She did not lick the butthole. She licked the area in between the gooch.
taint.
She licked the taint.
Taint quite the asshole, but
Yeah.
taint quite the nutsack.
It was weird. I'm like, what is? And I didn't ask her to do it. I was just, she was kind of in that area. Then all of a sudden,
Sucking
like,
on the balls.
and then she just kind of went, ah. I'm like, what the hell?
Trevor was about to have his virginity taken by this lonely woman of the night.
I was not a virgin by then, by any
No,
means.
of course, but your asshole was.
No.
If she would have started licking your asshole, you probably wouldn't have stopped her.
I'm not a cat. All right.
What? I didn't say you were a cat. What does
Is
that
that
have
the
to
name?
do with anything?
I don't know.
The name of the episode is Red Wings.
By the way, I love those boots. But yeah, Red Wings. Perfect name. I'm really afraid when my boss, John, the old man, hears this, it was his wife. Because there were a couple things where I talked about where he's like, yeah, I heard you talking the story about you getting a blowjob. She started biting, and my wife gave me a crazy look, and I immediately had to turn the episode off. And then he just gave me a sideways look, and I went,
Well, Trevor, you got to realize people
Yeah.
will eventually hear this.
you think so?
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, who knows what a year from now will do?
All right.
You know?
So, anyways, on to national news.
All your fucking weird pussy-eating extravaganzas
weird fights and weird shit
are going to be national news. They're going to be like, this dude Trevor's nuts.
I've calmed down, folks.
Yeah, he hasn't eaten any bloody pussy lately. He's trying.
Well, I'm not going to talk about last night in that regard, but I'm going to...
Trevor got catfished, y'all.
I did.
It's okay.
So when a lady that looks different on a photo that you're sent and when you meet her in reality,
so
nowadays
that is what catfishing. We can talk about this.
Let's just talk about it in general because it did happen to me yesterday.
Well, so they have these things on the apps now. You know, man,
filters.
We're old.
Yeah.
The apps
and filters.
So Instagram, Facebook, a lot of these platforms have filters that allow women that are 2s and 3s to send pictures like they're 4s and 7s.
We're talking on the hot scale, obviously, yeah.
And what it does is it takes a frumpy looking girl,
makes her look a little better,
and it like blushes her face up and it shines her eyes up a little bit and maybe puts some weird like cat ears on them,
makes her face look a little thinner.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these filters are fucking lies. And this girl sent Trevor a picture. It was a girl. It was a friend of a girl that I was talking to, and so we were trying to hook Trevor up. I knew she looked. All right. I'm not.
You were being very nice.
I was being very nice.
You were being very nice.
Megan is a nice girl. I just think
she is cool.
That sometimes certain girls could lose a little weight. That's just my stance. I am a big guy. Yeah. I know I can say this because I am big myself. But sometimes, folks, you got to put down the donuts and you got to fucking pick up the weights and you got to go to work.
Maybe do some walk around.
Do some jiu-jitsu or something.
Do some jiu-jitsu, walk, do some curling.
I have no idea what people need to do to lose weight themselves, but some people just need to lose a little weight. I need to lose a little weight.
I need to lose a little weight, but some people need to lose a little more weight.
Yeah, of course. But, and that's the problem is when somebody gets in that type of lifestyle where they're just used to being like, well, this is just me forever. Like, that is a terrible way to live your life.
Improve yourself.
Well, try at least. Yeah. If you are going to fail in this whole life of whatever, say you tried some shit.
Yeah.
You know, say you gave it a shot. Say maybe you didn't like this and, you know, that might have worked or whatever. But if you give it no effort and you just accept the fact that you're always going to be fat and sad and fucking, you know, lonely and that type of mentality, bro, it'll bury you before you're dead. So, positive vibes out here, folks. Some people just need to lose a little weight. Anywho, Trevor got catfished.
And before that, I had, what was ironic but annoying to me is I was going to go meet this girl. So I was like, all right, I got, half an hour to go meet her. Right as I was leaving work, I was about to clock out. I reached for my backpack and there was a loose razor and it punctured through my thumb, the base of my thumb, and it started to bleed profusely.
So when Trevor tries to leave for work, he has to rush and grab the bus. So he leaves in a little bit of a hurry.
Yeah.
And when he was grabbing his backpack, he sliced his hand open, his palm.
Oh, like right where the thumb meets the palm, right there. And it was bad because my palm has a lot of callus, but it was just above the callus. And yeah, dude, it was half an hour of pouring.
Sometimes you got to take it easy, man.
Yeah.
You know, that you were just saying earlier about how folks need to slow it down on the road. Sometimes before you get out of where you're at.
I should have slowed down, but I was in a hurry.
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's the whole excuse, man. And that's how your hand ended up getting sliced.
But what happened was I bled for half an hour as I walked close to a mile back from the work to the bus stop. I went into the 7-Eleven to get Band-Aids. I thought it'd be fine. 3 Band-Aids immediately got soaked up with blood. I'm like, shit.
Yeah, so because it's in his hand, so it's thin skin already.
Very thin. So I went back in, and I asked her, like, well, can I get some super glue? And I showed her my hand. It was just blood pouring down the hole, and she's like, oh, shit. And she went over and got me some. And it was super glue, and it reminded me of the incident with your eye, just above the eye, because
you had to super glue my eyes shut.
Yeah, super glue your eyes shut. I literally, as soon as I got the blood down, put it on, it instantly stopped it, and it was pouring.
Well, the cool thing about super glue is if you're able to get your wound put back together, like if you're able to get the cut or whatever close enough.
Yeah.
If you're able to get the skin close enough, you can just pour a bunch of fucking super glue on it, and that plastic or that adhesive freezes up almost instantly. And what it does is it stops the bleeding. But the problem with my eye at the time was it was in a bad position, and I was drinking, so my blood was thinner. And we were sitting there trying to pinch.
Drinking.
Well, we were trying to pinch my eye because the way it opened up was like a triangle.
Yeah, and every time you moved your face, it would move. The muscle would move.
Exactly. So you couldn't move any of the muscles on your face. Yeah. So we had to sit there and basically glue the closest part first, and then we had to glue the gap, you know. And my eye healed up fine. They were trying to tell me, the ambulance people were trying to say go to the hospital because it's right there. And I'm like, I live next door, right next to the hospital, but I'll be fine. And I was just more pissed off than anything. Yeah. You know, because I knew if I went to the hospital, they were going to pretty much do the same thing with liquid.
Which is they have a liquid adhesive. What it is, and what liquid adhesive is.
Well, maybe not similar, but
it is a glue, but the difference is
liquid stitch.
It's liquid stitch, but it's pretty much a glue with less officially harmful toxins. The reason why, like when I did first aid training and stuff, they talked about like they did mention using the glue, and they said only do that if you have to because
it's not good for you.
Traditionally, there's a lot of harmful chemicals in it. But if you have to, and I felt like I was in a situation where I had to, and I've had serious cuts, and I know when like, oh shit, I need to stop. But yeah, the medical stuff usually has cleaner chemicals, quote unquote. That's why it's not as harmful. That's why like the liquid stitch they'll use, but you won't get super glued or crazy glued in the ER room usually. But that's when you have to. But anyways, moving on. Went from Red Wings to gluing up wounds.
Gluing up things.
It's been a lot of blood in this episode. It's been a very bloody episode.
Bloody
Sunday?
Thursday?
Or Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Yeah, national news, there was a 6.4 earthquake that rocked Humboldt County.
Trevor's all jacked up about
2 days ago. So
literally, the plates are eroding from him.
Yes. So I've lived there before, and it's a place where the Pacific Plate collides with the North American Plate, and
the Chattahoochee meets the Calico.
So there is a fault line right there in Humboldt County, and they do get quite a few earthquakes. And when I lived there, we got 2 or 3 that were at least like 4 point something.
Well, I'll tell you, the mountains are pretty. Yeah. But they shift.
They do shift.
There's just some old miner down there. He's like, I used to get gold up in them hills, but then they shifted on me.
So now it's all weed.
Them plates up there, them plates are going to break one day, and everything's going to go kapow, 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 kapow. And then he's like, and then all the gold will be mine. I just got to wait for the next move.
And then I'm going to use it to my first grow, green gold. Anyways.
What?
So, weed, green gold.
Obviously.
Hey, can I go on with my story, please?
Not at all.
Fuck you. They're just like the fat kid sitting at the end, like, I'm going to weigh all your stories down. I'm Chris.
Trevor's stories aren't that great.
No, the Red Wings were great. You were fucking, funny. You wouldn't let me leave. You're like, this is gold.
He's like, I lived in Humboldt, so that makes me a national geologist on the demographics or the fucking plant life out there.
I've studied shit out there, all right?
I've fucking smoked salvia.
I have smoked salvia. I know. In Humboldt too, but yeah. I've done the weird things. But no, I have studied geology a little
Trevor's
bit.
like, I'm a geologist. I pretty much studied it. I went to school for a couple months.
For a year. I went to Humboldt State for a year, and I studied forestry.
What's up? Throw that fucking knowledge somewhere else.
Anyways, then move on.
I'll throw down right now on geographical California knowledge.
I'll show you igneous, these nuts. Like what? Anyways.
Debate these nuts.
Debate these sedentary rocks. Like, you know what? You're a quartz crystal. Like what? What's going on right now?
Stoner comedy is ridiculous.
I'm moving on, folks. So big earthquakes happened. My buddy Sheriff Conan, who's a sheriff in Humboldt County, called me up. And at least,
Sheriff, there's been a meltdown in the mine. The mine's collapsed. So 13 miners are down there, Sheriff.
There's mining out there
Conan
too.
O'Brien, how are we ever going to get them out?
Well, this is how the Conan I know talks, but he was telling me how the bridge for Fern Bridge was cracked, and then he told me how there was 2 fatalities, and then he told me. Cool. All right. So yeah, shout out Humboldt County. Earthquakes, they're an issue, and you guys should definitely.
Oh, Sheriff, there's been another earthquake. It's gone ruckus all up in them hills, them Humboldt hills.
Well, the only thing I saw shaking last night was your grandmother. I was there.
Sheriff, fuck you. You know what?
Yeah.
You know what I done found in them hills? Your wife's panties.
Well, I already killed her, so you must have fucked a dead body.
Well, Sheriff, I'm not opposed to digging. I'm a miner, don't you know?
I am the underminer. I don't undermine you. You undermine me.
I don't know where this is going, folks.
It's getting weird. So on to world news.
It's all Trevor's fault. Should have never ate that girl.
So on world news, Budweiser announced that the winner.
You know what the
World
Texas
Cup.
Chainsaw Massacre guy's favorite food is?
Can you please let me do my thing?
Lady fingers.
That's my joke. But can I please tell my story, Chris? Being a dick
I'm
right
being
now.
an asshole.
I'm not being an asshole,
No,
dude.
I
I'm just
am.
trying to. Just because you're tired and you don't have a lot of things right now.
I don't
lined
have a lot
up.
of nice things,
You don't have a lot of
Trevor.
material lined up because you're feeling sick and you're Mr. Eeyore, the sad guy over here. I know.
I'm so tired.
But don't just shit on me then. Just be
I'm
like.
not shitting on you.
Not literally, but you're holding my stories down. So Budweiser's going to give all the unsold beer at the World Cup to the winner, which is Argentina. The country that hosted the World Cup was Qatar, which is a very strict conservative Muslim country. At last moment banned the sale of alcohol.
That.
Not on this one, we didn't.
No, I know. We talked about it before.
Yes. So that's my world news. So I feel bad for
Argentina
everyone.
gets a free beer.
A free, shitty, really shitty beer. That
Is it gonna be cool? Or is it hot?
I hope it's
hot
cool. At least.
Budweisers?
That would be terrible. They're already bad enough. Like hot Budweisers would be awful. So that's what I
Trevor's
got
writing
for
a
that.
letter to the company. He's like, "Dear Anheuser-Busch,
You guys
what
suck.
the fuck? Budweiser, really?"
King of beer's my ass.
Yeah.
Fuck you
He's
guys.
like, as I crack open my old English.
This is the real king of beers. See this? There's crowns on this too. They're the real king of beer because they have crowns right on the label. Yeah. Come on. You know that was good. Yeah. We can move on if you want.
Yeah, move it along.
I would like you to do a movie review if you have one for me.
I don't have one.
Okay, what's something funny that or you like that you saw recently? That's, maybe more than 5 minutes, but like a Cops episode. Maybe talk about the bonfire, Legion of Skanks. We could talk about that.
I don't know. I'm drawing a blank.
All right, we'll do bonfire then. We'll do
Trevor's
bonfire.
like, come up with something funny you've watched. I'm like, I've watched a lot of funny stuff, Trevor.
All right, we'll do bonfire. So we've been listening a lot of bonfire, and one that fucking had me laughing my ass off was last night.
Him LOLing.
And it was DJ Lou was talking about how he was hooking up with these older chicks, and Dan Soder and Big J were losing it laughing, and they're like, "Oh, so that's why you took the ballroom dancing class?" Oh, and they were just grilling them. They're like, "So what are you gonna tell her that when she comes in is like, what is this Pearl Jam you like, young man? I would like some of your Pearl Jam, if you know what I mean." And they were just going on and on about it. I was like, that is hilarious. So
He's
he's like,
pretty good.
so that's my movie review. Apparently I'm doing both tonight. So the movie review is Bonfire. Just look up DJ Lou of Old Chicks and Pearl Jam. And then they went on to the Uber driver that he hooked up with, too.
I'm trying to sneeze, folks, but the light isn't working.
That's all right. It's all good.
Trevor's mad. Trevor's mad at me because I'm not bringing my A game.
He's bringing his, C minus.
C minus game.
You are C minus.
I'm barely showing up to this podcast.
I'm doing everything right now.
Trevor feels
folks.
like a single woman. He feels like he's washing and drying.
I now know how you feel that time when Michael and I were too stoned and you had gotten off work and you had to carry that whole episode.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
It does.
So get over it. Trevor's like, I've never done this to you. Actually, multiple times, but I don't bring it up.
You've done it to me before, too, but that's all right.
Yeah, well, then why are you bringing it on up?
I'm having to write shit down.
This is real, folks. This is real. Trevor's pissed off.
My fucking radio husband over here is just fucking around.
Hey, man, I'm your heterosexual, what is it? Wait, no.
Oh, how did they...
Hetero life mate.
Yeah, fucking... Jay, Silent Bob, yeah, that shit was funny.
This is my hetero light mate, Silent Bob.
I'm gonna have a fucking orangutan that I'm communicating with. I love how him and the orangutan instantly
I don't want to have to go back to my liberal city with tales of bigotry and hatred from within the heart of Utah.
No!
I'm trying to avoid a political fiasco.
Yeah.
He's like, sirs. May I just say that's one fine-looking boy you're raising. It's a monkey. He's up on the rails. Yeah.
Oh, that was so funny.
Just like that, he's back, folks. Trevor just takes it too serious sometimes. He forgets that this is supposed to be a fun podcast. And he's like, if we're not being funny, we're nothing.
Well, I try to throw a little bit of shit in there, but...
He hates when I interrupt him. That's the bugaboo. But I always interrupt. That's kind of my thing.
You black chick the shit out of it. You do the black chick thing because I do it a little bit, but God damn it, man. Trevor, you do it harsh.
Trevor acts like he never does it.
I do it, but not as much as you.
Oh, so we're two guilty parties calling the other one guilty.
You're a little more guilty.
He's the pot calling the kettle black.
Damn right.
Damn. Brother kissed his mama.
You out of time, baby.
I'm talking Marty McSuperfly.
If I catch any of you selling drugs in this community, you have to deal with me, Black Dynamite.
Isaac Hayes.
But Black Dynamite.
It's your cousin.
I sell drugs in this community.
You know that sound you've been looking for? Well, listen to this.
Just weird funk. It's cool though.
Marty, I want to be your fly ass bitch.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, damn.
I wish they had done the scene where Marty had to like meet up with the band and then they chase the hoodlum guys off. He's like, you won't deal with no reefer addicts.
Cigarettes. Yeah.
You won't deal with no reefer addicts. What's up, Peckerwood? You better get your ass home back to Mama. Smack. Like, that was pretty funny. But
when's the last time you watched Back to the Future? Like all of them?
I've seen them all. When's the
last time you watched them all the way through from the first one to the last one? It's been a while for me. Probably like 10, 12 years.
Probably that about for me too. Literally,
last time I think I saw it was on like TBS or TNT or something, and it was just like all the fucking movies back to back.
I watched it when I had gotten back from a fire, and I had 2 days. I had 2 days before I had to go back to the fucking fire.
Yeah.
So my buddies and I, we just like. We went all constantly from the barracks to the river, which was across the street. There's the Eel River right there.
Down by the river.
But we would go by the river. It was this barracks in the small country town.
My fire crew.
We went down to the river and we would just smoke and drink, and then we would party and fight and fucking have fun.
Each other? That's so weird, Trevor.
The man and the woman would fuck.
No. He's talking about these boys were scrubbing each other in the river.
No.
And then they were fucking at night.
No.
There was a lot of Brokeback Mountain action, if you know what I'm saying. It was just
man and woman, all right? Man and woman.
It was just men. It was just men.
No, there were women on the fire crew, too, and the barracks.
Men.
No, it was men and women, all right?
Men and women.
There's a lot of this going on.
The crooked finger makes it so much better. Trevor's doing the little dick in the hole reference.
It's like with the crooked finger makes it funny. Old crooked dick.
Dude, that is the funniest.
See, it just slides right in. Just like, fuck.
Yeah. Guys, you can't see it right now, but this is
like a giraffe's tongue. It's like,
This is the dumbest thing ever.
You're just dying of laughter.
Funny.
Don't worry, I'm just gonna like randomly a few days later be like, hey Chris, I'm gonna just do this. You'll be like, God damn it, Trevor.
I'm gonna be like, yeah, well, where's your peanut butter?
Yeah. So move on here if you want to Guitar Hero is dumb for real guitar players. That was the thing we talked about.
Yeah, Guitar Hero was a game that came out in like 2002 or something, 2001, where it had a plastic controller where you could fake play guitar notes basically on your TV. The whole issue I have is if you're gonna go through the hassle of playing fake guitar notes, why not learn a guitar?
Yeah.
That's my entire argument. I mean, you're going to spend similar amounts of time. You know, yeah, probably the guitar learning is more intensive and you're going to spend a lot more time trying to do it. But what the fuck are you doing becoming good at a video game? Like, there's probably a couple of people that played in a couple Guitar Hero tournaments and made some money. But I don't know, man.
That's so dumb.
There's probably a lot more people that played guitar and made more money.
Yeah.
Pick up a skill, folks. That's all I'm saying. Pick up a goddamn skill.
As a guy who plays a lot of guitar, it was dumb to me. It was like, I could be using that time playing fake guitar to getting better at real guitar. Well, what am I doing?
Well, I love the argument that, oh, it's going to get kids up off the couch and get them active. And
giving them a guitar and playing
No, it didn't, because I watched a bunch of people just sit on the couch and play guitar.
I have too.
It's weird to watch somebody just
fake
click
guitar.
buttons. Yeah, they're just clicking buttons. Red, blue, green, and yellow, I think it was.
And the thing is, like, when you play real guitar, it'll make your fingers hurt at first because you're pressing against steel usually. So, like, I was already having calluses, but guitar, like, gives you super calluses in that fact.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
No, if you look at, like, the hand they pick with, they do frets and I don't, there's a difference because it is weird shit to your hands. But yeah, a lot of people just have issues with like their fingers hurting the first year for playing. Yeah, Chris is making me do the crooked finger penis into the vagina again. Now it's like a lamprey eel. Now it's like an eel. It's like an eel in the hole of the Great Barrier Reef.
Stop yelling at me.
Sorry.
This motherfucker's like, that's like the big Great Barrier Reef eel. No, it's funny because that's the joke from Idiocracy. Because he takes a hooker to the future, and they're always like, "Hey, did you do it or whatever?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "It," And then they do that little sign, and everybody starts laughing. The second they do that little finger in the hole, everyone's like, "Yeah!" It's like doing the motions and shit.
They should have just had me instead, just with the crooked fingers.
He's like, "Guys, I need a minute with her," and they're like, "What?" Side conversation. What? He goes, and then they're all like, "Ah!"
Yeah.
So Idiocracy, shout out. That's a great movie.
That is a great movie.
We can talk about that for a minute.
I love that movie. I haven't seen it in a long time.
An average guy named Joe gets frozen.
Who's in the army.
Gets frozen by the army, and it turns out his colonel, or the guy who gets him involved in this scheme, is a guy that's into prostitutes. He ends up getting with this pimp named Upgrade, and they party and shit, and there's like a whole slideshow of him learning the life of a pimp. He's like, a pimp's love is a lot different than the love of John.
Yeah.
And there's this whole side story.
A pimp's love is a different kind of love, like some shit like that.
So basically what ends up happening is Joe gets frozen in a cryogenic chamber, and a hooker named, I forget her name.
By the way, did we start again at 0 when we recorded? So that's the total.
Yeah.
Okay.
So him and the hooker, and shortly after, the dude gets busted for hookers. He was running hookers. So then the whole project gets shut down and the building gets knocked down, but they forget that the people are in there. So thousands of years go by, and then they come to wake up in the future and find out humanity's fucking retarded, and they basically all shop at Costco, and there's that funny scene with a guy, he's just like, "Welcome to Costco, I love you." "Welcome to Costco, I love you." And it's just hilarious because, like, I don't know, it doesn't seem that far-fetched that humanity
is degrading.
Well, the dumb people will keep replicating, and then eventually driving civilization down. Yeah. Because the smart people will continue to solve problems, but if there's far less of them,
and they don't fuck as frequently because there's less of them, and they just don't generally.
Well, smart people try to have reasonable amounts of kids. Dumb people that are dumb usually have ridiculous numbers of kids.
Yep.
Not saying that it's stupid to have a bunch of kids, but like, look at the Mormons. Like, their fucking whole thing is about procreation, making as many numbers as they can so that they can pass on the message of God. So they fuck their daughters and they fuck their nieces and stuff like that.
You'll have third world countries that still do it because you have a higher mortality rate there. So if you have more kids, one of them is more likely to survive. But especially in like countries like America where the infant mortality rate isn't as high because of the medicine. Generally, it makes a lot less sense to have so many kids, and they're also expensive. So if you have a lot of kids, child support, or like one way or another, you're probably gonna have to pay a lot of your income to dealing if you have a bunch of kids.
One of the biggest problem with having children is the cost. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to pay for medical care. You have to pay for dentist visits.
There's a lot of guys. Food. There's a lot of guys in jail for not paying child support.
You got to take the children out to do activities. You got to, like the cost of raising a child is very high compared to what it used to be, which was just literally feeding a child. For years, the government
feed and clothe them.
Well, the government didn't step in as much, and then there was a lot of problems with that where people were abusing children. So the government started stepping in. But now I think sometimes the government oversteps and sometimes it understeps, where there's kids that get abused that just get passed over in the system constantly. Yep. And then there's kids that fucking just, I don't know, man. It's hard on both ends. That's a one that we still haven't figured out, man. Fucking all the children.
The children.
There's a lot of kids out there. Not a lot of people give a fuck about them. So if you're a kid out there and you're listening to this podcast, don't be listening to it. It's not for you. But if you are, you're cool.
So, real quick, I got a good idea for a book came up with today.
Trevor, you writing a novel?
Maybe. But it's called Where's Waldo Weed Edition book. So if we had like Where's Waldo.
I love it.
But it was...
He's at like a 420 festival.
So that was the whole thing I had was a 420 festival.
He's at an Afro-Mac concert.
Yeah, and then the next scene, I told my boss would be that poor grocery store afterwards. All these hungry stone people just raiding all the food. And then you have to find Stone Waldo and then there'd be like a bag of magic weed, and there'd be a bunch of side characters you have to find, and then it would be a whole bunch of seeing like the pot farm, and then all this crazy shit going on in the pot farm, and then you'd have a legal pot farm, and then there'd be another scene for an illegal pot farm, because that's an interesting one. And
so how would you tell
a dispensary?
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. Trevor's like, I want to fucking make this book,
dude. You would love this book.
I think it'd be fun.
That's my $1 million idea for us, Chris.
Where's Waldo's its own thing already?
That's already awesome. Where's Waldo's weed?
Yeah, I know. But where's Waldo? How would you tell that he's stoned? Will he have little red eyes or something?
Yeah. You can always tell by the shirt he's wearing. Because that's how you always could find him.
Yeah, but he'll have
He'll be like a tie-dye version. He'll be a tie-dye version. Because it's a stone version, so it'll be like a tie-dye sort of version. Yeah, but
there'll probably be so much tie-dye in the weed book.
There'd be so much tie-dye. Not a tie-dye, a lot of white people with dreads.
Wow.
There would be fucking a lot of
Grateful Dead. He's at a Grateful Dead concert.
Oh, yeah, there'd be like people from the band Fish there and Ween and...
I like the concept. It would be a fun book. I think it's a novelty.
Yeah, I think it would be fun
for the stoner.
Yeah, for the stoner.
Oh, I'm wearing a sweatshirt that I got to talk about. My mom sent me some clothes for Christmas, which I love you, Diane. Thank you. But my sweatshirt says, "I'm a simple man. I like doobies and boobies."
It is a very nice sweatshirt. I like it.
It's comfy as fuck. I like
it's
that.
Also
it's super
just
comfy.
Visually, it's nice with the white and the green text with the dark blue background.
Very nice.
It's visually very appeasing.
And she got me another shirt. It says Project Manager, and it's got a pot leaf on it. I thought that one was cute too. And it's just weird because I wish I could wear this stuff out more often, and you can. But there's certain places I couldn't wear this, unfortunately.
Because weed is still socially a bit of a stigma.
Taboo. Yeah, it's taboo.
I mean, it would be a lot stranger if you just wore a straight up heroin shirt. That would be a lot stranger. But
exactly, people don't want to admit that people do drugs and people smoke weed and people do LSD and people don't want
psychedelics are that gray area still. Whereas hard drugs are still generally seen as bad. If you have a shirt just about shoot up heroin.
My entire argument for weed is if this was a cigarette, would we even be having this conversation?
Exactly.
Because cigarettes are a stimulant, and they do have an effect. They have a anti-anxiety effect once they get your heart rate up. But cigarettes are terrible for you. They're way worse for you than weed. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I can't just smoke a joint on my break, that blows my fucking mind. But people, you got to be careful out there. There's a bunch of people that will never understand that, sometimes smoking cannabis and growing pot and stuff like that, it's kind of a lifestyle. Unfortunately, a lot of people won't be down with it.
Yeah.
That's another reason I think that Amy might have got scared off. Maybe she was fucking a little intimidated by the fucking big tent in the room.
Yeah, I'm sure. I was wondering about that, but...
Yeah, I mean... She didn't smoke weed, and she did have a child, so I could see how traveling around with me, doing my thing, could put a target on her back.
Dope, man. I get money.
That's the problem, man, is I can't just fucking grow my own shit, sell a little bit to my friends, and fucking live comfortably. I have to fucking live in the legal loopholes and fucking, even in recreational world, there's still so much fucking hurdles and stigma to get over. And it won't be all the way fucking gone until, 50 years from now, possibly.
As a stoner myself, I definitely look forward to the day when, first, obviously, when it gets federally decriminalized, that will be a major fucking deal. It'll be when the Prohibition ended in a lot of ways. But
I don't think so. I think when it gets federally legalized, it's just going to be another hurdle for the states. Because then the federal government is going to start to be able to make calls on what is legal and what isn't legal. And they can start to use their fucking pull on the states. Whereas in certain states, they allow you to buy more cannabis and have more things than other ones. In Florida, they only have medical right now. And you can only get certain things. But out here in Oregon, our ounces are $40. You know what I mean? Some of the cheapest ounces in the country.
You can get ounces. I got last Saturday got an ounce for $17.
I'm telling you, man.
That
the
was
price
cheap.
Of,
$17 an ounce.
Well, the price of weed is dropping drastically, and what people don't realize is that when the price of weed drops so drastically, it's gonna force kind of a skip in the market, where there'll be a bunch of farmers out of business and a bunch of dispensaries out of business, because the farms need the dispensaries and the dispensaries need the farms. But when you put that much processing and no benefit for a farmer, they're not going to want to grow as much, So, I mean, the whole idea with growing cannabis, originally, was to grow as much as you could, But now that the price of cannabis is dropping, you're either going to have to grow a ridiculous amount, or you're going to have to, dial back your crop a little bit. Because it's hard to flood the market with something that everybody is not paying a lot for. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
So, cannabis is going to be in a weird place here in the next 10 years or so. Because there's going to be a lot of people still pushing for legalization. There's going to be another couple presidents, Joe Biden's probably not going to get another term, I don't think.
Probably
he's
not.
too old, and he's going to try to run for re-election, and nobody's going to vote for him.
Same with Donald Trump officially, too. It's like, you're both old as fuck. They're literally both like 80. Both of them.
Nobody cares about Donald Trump that much anymore. But Joe Biden's just getting too old. Like
he's the oldest president ever elected now.
Well, it's hard to watch him fucking do his thing. He just stumbles. Old.
Yeah. Like he was sharper. Like even like Obama, he was definitely older, middle aged, but he could when he was the vice president, he was definitely mentally more aware because he was. A good 15 years younger.
I think people hated Trump so much that they were like, we'll go for anything that seems normal. And Joe Biden at the time seemed like, all right, this is going to be normal like Obama again, right?
Or something.
Similar, yeah. But it's just like watching Grandpa fumble around with the car keys, man. You're like, what's going on here, dude? And he's like, I don't know, get in the car.
He's like, Popcorn was a real tough guy.
Trevor, they can't hear you through the wall. He walked away to go pee, folks, and he's trying to make comments from the bathroom.
That's how I roll.
No, it's not how you roll. You sit down and you talk to the people on the mic and didn't even wash your hands, you dirty bastard.
I just washed my hands.
He didn't wash his hands, folks. I know for a fact.
My fucking hands.
He's going to put his little pissy hands all over the keyboard and try and do stuff. He's holding his little pee-pee. He's got his pee all over his pants.
Not true. So my album review is The Who, which is, it's spelled H-U, and it's a Mongolian folk metal rock band.
Nice.
And they got big in recent years. I know you've heard them.
Yep.
They're awesome. And they even did like a Metallica cover, Sad But True.
They have a lot of cool
really
cover
cool
art for their albums and stuff. They take a lot of cool pictures.
And they do like badass music videos. And their music's really good. They do like classic Mongolian throat singing and with like the three string like horse
three
fiddle.
Fingers.
The 3-string like fiddles that have the horse head, which like traditionally they would carve horse heads into their fiddles, which was a cool thing. And they definitely draw in like the whole Mongolian and Genghis Khan sort of element hardcore because in Mongolian folklore, like Genghis Khan,
get a little bit Genghis Khan. Don't want you to get it on with nobody else.
Mongolian culture, like Genghis Khan is their hero, and he was the most successful like conqueror ever as far as biggest empire.
There's probably still some Mongolian chicks that were like, I'd fuck them.
Well, he raped so many people that there are villages, I guess, that when a village would hear Genghis Khan's army was coming, women would just throw themselves off cliffs and shit because they didn't want to get raped because he was so notorious. Like at the time, he ravaged. He fucked more people than anybody.
Wasn't Genghis Khan supposed to be like autistic too, though, or something?
Who knows? It was the 1200s. Like,
well, he was thought to be.
They don't really know.
Certain kind of mental. I remember hearing that. I thought Genghis Khan, he had something wrong with his brain.
He had a mental disorder, but he was a super good tactician, and he was a very good.
Well, it's not hard to roll up on people with numbers and beat them up.
But you gotta think for how big his empire was, he did extremely well.
I'm just saying, it's not hard to roll up on a bunch of people that aren't expecting you and fucking beat them up.
Yeah, but he had the one largest armies ever, and it was mainly horse. It was horse cavalry.
You're a horse cavalry.
Hell yeah. So, anyways, the band is called The Who, and the album
not WHO.
HU.
HU. Huh.
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 Huh. So the album is called The Gareg, and the whole album is, at least on the YouTube version, is 13 songs.
Hell yeah.
And it came out in 2019.
Oh yeah, it did.
And the song I want to pick is...
The featured song of the day is...
The Great Genghis Khan, because it seemed appropriate. Ooh. How about that? Because it's Mongolia.
Very spooky.
But yeah.
Are they ghosts?
All the ghosts.
They're ghosts.
All the ghosts. But... Alright, so he's running out of time. But yeah, it's really good. Check out Mongolian rock and metal in general. There's other good bands out there too. Like there's straight folk like Hunter 2 or Batser Vanching, or there's like bands like Tango Cavalry, which mixes like modern metal with traditional folk from Mongolian, and there's and Hungai, like there's all kinds of cool bands up there. Hungai is one of my favorite bands. Hungai is so funny. I'll play you one of their songs afterwards.
Okay.
They're fucking funny.
All right.
And they're awesome.
Trevor's excited,
I'm
folks.
excited. So yeah, that's what I got, folks. And
been a
as
good
far as
episode.
everyone take care of yourselves. Remember to be safe. And
don't go grabbing your backpack near razors, and don't go driving crazy on the ice.
Yeah.
Watch out for catfishes. Watch out for red wings. We be out this bitch, y'all.
Hey, Red Wings and Reefers. That's what we're going to call this because we talk about weed a lot. So Red Wings and Reefers. That's cool. Let me play my